What's up everyone, King Crab's back again today, and today we're going to be playing Mono Ghost in the NatDex, which is a type I initially thought lost so much in the transition to NatDex because Dragapult is banned and Spectrier is banned. So I was worried like I got no new tools, but then I remembered how fun Gen 7 Ghost was with some Trick Room shenanigans, and it was actually really fun. Maybe not amazing, but I really enjoyed playing it and testing, so let's give the team a run today, and with that, let's look at the team. First up we have Runerigus, and Runerigus is going to be kind of my setup Pokemon. With max defense and max HP, it can nicely live a lot of physical attacks because it is quite bulky, with 145 defense. And paired with this nice defense, we actually have Body Press as my attack, which is good for dealing with normal types, and dark types, which are of course give my team a lot of trouble. Wandering Spirit can just do so much shenanigans. I don't even want to begin explaining what it can do. It can do like get rid of Guts, Regenerator, so many abilities, and just be really strong. But moveset wise, we have Memento, which pairs amazingly with Darkinium Z, and the reason for this is, when you use Darkinium Z with Memento, of course the Pokemon still faints, but it lowers the opponent's attack and special attack harshly, while fully recovering the HP of the next Pokemon that swaps in, which is going to be amazing to get something back to full HP. Usually Sableye or Alolan Marowak can get full HP, which is especially nice in Trick Room. So we can Trick Room up and gain perfect momentum with Memento, and while also healing the Pokemon in case they're damaged. We also have Stealth Rock for team support and just chipping away things like sashes. And I forgot to mention as well, Darkinium Z pairs especially nicely on a Ghost team because it nerfs knockoff, so it won't be the 1.5 times base, so Runerigus can't eat some of those. So next up we have Marowak, and this is my natural pairing to Runerigus. I made it a min speed Marowak so it can outspeed a lot of things in Trick Room, and this thing hits super strong. Now, upon first impression, 280 force attack is kind of bad, especially max invested adamant. It is a Gen 1 Pokemon, so 80 base isn't fantastic. However, Thick Club doubles the Marowak's attack stat, so this is essentially giving it huge power, so it hits over 560 attack, which of course is crazy strong. So this thing hits like a truck, especially thanks to its Fire Ghost typing. It gets Stab Flare Blitz, so it's a Stab 120 base move. With Rockhead, it doesn't suffer recoil from Flare Blitz, which is crazy strong. Poltergeist is also a really strong stab move with 110 base, so this thing hits just really like a truck. It's strong. And finally Earthquake, which is good for taking care of things like Pex or certain steel types like Heatran, which can give my team a bit of trouble, so Earthquake is generally quite nice to have, as well as just being good against electric types. And finally we have Substitute. I was debating Substitute or Sword Dance, but I like the idea of Z-Mementoing into Marowak to fully heal it, and I can sub up in a Pokemon's face because they are minus attack and special attack, so chances are they're going to be swapping out. I can also sub up in the last turn of Trick Room in case they try to play around Trick Room, and I get another kill anyway, which is really good. Next up we have arguably the star of the show. We have Sableye, and Sableye is a really good Mega. So prior to Mega Evolution it gets Prankster, which means we can Prankster Will-Wisp things in case things are dangerous. So in case we're fighting a physical threat, we can Will-Wisp them quickly. Next up we have Calm Mind, and Calm Mind is very good for boosting my special attack and special defense. My special defense is not that good, though it gets a lot better after Mega Evolution. We have Recover for spamming Recover again to get my HP back. The only problem is this thing, if it's poisoned, it's kind of bad for me. But upon Mega Evolution, it actually gets Magic Bounce, which bounces back Toxic, it bounces back Yawns, Thunder Waves, kind of anything that would otherwise trouble Sableye. It gets bounced back, which is super good. And finally we have Hex, which isn't too strong normally, but it does become 130 base stab after a Will-Wisp, which is quite strong. It is completely walled up by normal types, so that's not too big of an issue because I do have some normal type checks on the team. So Sableye is definitely the star of the show. This stat spread, admittedly, it's only something I kind of came up with randomly. I didn't even calc this. I used to run max defense, but the 250 defense looks like a nice number to me. And I needed some special defense to guarantee I tank 2 Landorus Incarnates, which is a menace to my team. Next up we have Gengar, and Gengar is going to be my speed control on the team. It is Choice Scarf. Its speed is pretty respectable after a Choice Scarf and has decent special attack, all things considered. So with that, we have a nice choice graph user with Focus Blast to deal with steel types, to deal with normal types, dark types in the tier, which can be quite, of course, a hassle. We have Dazzling Gleam, which is arguably better for dark types if we can take care of the opposing Bisharp or Alolan Muck if it's on the team. But Dazzling Gleam is really good for killing things like Hydreigon. It's also very good against the Dragon matchup and things like Komodo, which can be a bit annoying. Shadow Ball is generally just nice stab. I toyed with the idea of using Hex, but I don't have as much hazard control or status control as I would like to have to run a Hex choice scarf set. I used to run Toxic Spikes on the rune, but I decided to go for Stealth Rocks. I think it's a bit more reliable, given the amount of poison types in the tier. And finally we have Sludge Bomb, which is just kind of nice stab. It's 90 base. I could go for Sludge Wave if you want the immediate bit more power, but I like the chance to spread a poison, because I do think Gengar isn't quite strong enough to want to KO things unfiltered in the tier, so it does need to weaken things first. Next up we have Mimikyu, and it's going to be a Life Orb Mimikyu, the kind of a standard Mimikyu set with Swords Dance. With Disguise, it guarantees I can take most hits in the tier that aren't multi-hit or things like Mold Breaker, which is really good because Ghost can get kind of steamrolled a lot by things like maybe Blacephalon with Beast Boost or any kind of fast Moxie knockoff user. However, Mimikyu stops them in their tracks, as Disguise guarantees I can take a one hit of those. With Swords Dance and Life Orb, it patches up its honestly pretty paltry attack stat and becomes quite strong. We have Shadow Sneak for priority, which is really good just to chip away opponents or take care of something if it's a low HP. Play Rough again is very good to take care of things like dragons and dark types, which give my team a lot of trouble. And finally, Drain Punch is great for longevity, as well as absolutely destroying some dark types like Tyranitar, Bisharp, and of course also giving Mimikyu longevity, which is really, really good, because this thing does take a lot of damage between the chip it takes from Disguise and the Life Orb chip it takes every time it attacks. And last but not least, we have Aegislash, and this is the first time I'm probably ever using a weakness policy Aegislash. It's not usually the one I go for. I don't like Subtoxic, usually I like Spell Tag or Choice Specs, but I decided I would like to try King Shield weakness policy. And I'm glad I did, because it does some good work. So again, this can eat a knockoff. For example, we can King Shield turn 1, lower the opponent's attack status stage, and then generally speaking we can eat a knockoff because this thing is quite bulky in shield form. Activating our weakness policy, which makes my attack stat go sky high, especially in blade form. So in blade form we have Shadow Sneak again, much like Mimikyu, is just good priority. It's nice because it is stab and can take care of weakened opponents or late game sweeps. Next up we have Sacred Sword, and you're probably sick of me hearing this by now, but the fighting type attack is very good for the dark types in the tier, the steel types in the tier. This type is built around to try and fight dark types, and I think it does pretty well. Hopefully we get some good games with that today. And finally we have Iron Head, which is just generally good stab. It's good for hitting fairy types in the tier and just generally hitting a lot of types neutrally quite hard, especially the poison type, which can give my team a bit of trouble. So that is going to be the team for today, and before we jump into games, I want to ask you, what is your favorite your favorite ghost type Pokemon? And for me, it definitely has to be Runerigus. As soon as I saw this in Generation 8, I thought this is such a cool Pokemon. It's such an interesting take on Cofagrigus' original design, and easily my favorite ghost type Pokemon. My favorite J8 Pokemon too, I have to say. And with that, let's pause and be right back. So we have a game against Mono Poison, which is going to be tough for me because things like Alolan Muck do give my team a lot of trouble. Though I do like Marowak in this game, and I think if I can set up with Sableye, it's pretty good too. We're actually going to open up with Sableye, I think, as they open up Beedrill. I'm going to try burn this right off. So before Mega Evolving, a Prankster Burn is going to help me put this out of commission early in the game. If they swap into Muck, that's okay too, because I can Mega Evolve and then Will-O-Wisp. Very clever on their part to swap in. I'm still going to Mega Evolve and Wisp here, though they probably swap into something like Pex or Slowking, as they go to try and poison me, and I get the burn on Muck, which is really, really good. Now the question is, where do I go from this position? I guess I can mind up a bit. They do get the poison, which isn't too bad. It's not the end of the world for me, I can recover it off. And having Muck burnt is so good. I'm actually going to try burn again. I expect them to swap into maybe something like Nidoking as they actually stay in. Okay, so let's recover up here. Once this is gone, it's not necessarily easy for me, but it's not as hard for me. Okay, we're going to swap into EG here. In case they want to knock again. If they poison jab, of course I'm immune, and they take some damage from burn. If they knock, they activate my weakness policy, which is really good, because in this position, I don't have Shadow Claw, unfortunately, so I'm just going to click Iron Head. Obviously, Pex walls me out pretty bad. But some damage on Pex is still quite nice. As they give me Muck, which is fantastic for me. That is what I want to see. So that's one of the biggest threats to my team taken care of. I'm just going to sneak you. That was a weird play, sacking their Beedrill. They didn't even Mega Evolve. I think the play there was probably to go into Pex and either roll for a Scald Burn or Haze me, if they're even running Haze. I have 1 speed, so I should be able to outspeed this. Assuming they're min speed. Nice. Get rid of Weezing. That's a huge threat to my Mega Sableye. I think Nidoking's probably the last biggest threat to the team. Though if I can manage to get up a Trick Room with my Marowak, I'm in a good position. Iron Head does slightly more damage. Oh, I got the crit too, which is super good for me. As expected, Haze comes out. I think in this position we go into Marowak here. As they recover. I'm just going to EQ. So they can of course Scald. If they're knockoff, that's really bad for me. They're Scald, they can't burn thankfully, which means EQ gets a kill here. And if they give me Toxapex, it's actually really, really good for me, because that is a huge threat to my team. Nidoking comes out. I think I value Marowak because it wins the endgame. I think it wins the endgame. This should be min speed. Let me fix it after this. We're going to go, I think... I guess I sack Gengar. Gengar's not going to be able to break Slowking at all. And in this position, we're going to take in Rune and click Trick Room. Nice. And we're going to Z-Memento. I will never get that right the first time. Into my Marowak. I'm going to click Poltergeist. Actually, Earthquake should KO, right? Or Flare Blitz will KO. It's Stab. 120. And if they swap into Slowking, I'm pretty sure this dies. And in this position, Earthquake KOs. If not, I have AG and Mimikyu with Shadow Sneak, so it's a pretty good position for me. GG. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game against Mono Dark, which is very tough for my team to deal with. Mandibuzz is going to be hard to break, as well as Hydreigon, especially if it's sub-nasty. So I think we're going to open up at Sableye here, and try Mega Evolve turn 1. Assuming they don't open up with, I believe, Hydreigon, I think I'm in an okay position to try and spread a burn to anything. They don't have Bisharp. Okay. I'm okay with spin this. As they go into Hydreigon. Now that is the threat I was worried about. What do I sack? I guess I sack Marowak here. I didn't want to go into my Mimikyu hard. I want to risk Focus Blast in case something like Tyranitar or Bisharp comes in. Though maybe Gleam is the better play here. Actually, do I Gleam? Because they might go into Mandibuzz. As they go into Tyranitar. I think I'll take an AG. Actually, I'm slower. But I value Mimikyu a lot, so yeah, I'll take an AG. Maybe they'll Dragon Dance. And they go straight for a Crunch, and that does 1,000,000 damage. I guess we'll just Sacred Sword in case for some reason they swap out, though they have no real reason to. But now I can get a Mimikyu and click Drain Punch. And probably Mandibuzz coming in. So that Hydreigon is a threat, and I think it Specs. And next time we take in Gengar, I think we click Dazzling Gleam. I'm still able to use up some Sableye HP because I can Z-Memento into it to heal it back up to full. Mandibuzz comes in. I'm pretty sure +2 play rough does a ton of damage to you. It probably KOs. This is stab 558 life orb. I'm pretty sure this KOs. Nice. That's a pretty big threat to my team taken care of. Now the question is, does Bisharp Sucker Punch KO me? And the answer is probably. Hydreigon comes in. I guess I just value... Actually, do I value Mimikyu alive? I'll try Drain Punch in case it doesn't KO. It specs, so it definitely KOs. But now we can go into Gengar here and click Focus Blast. Please connect. They might go into Bisharp, which is why I'm trying to Focus Blast here. Of course, things like Weavile and Greninja are still a huge threat to my team. Nice, it connects. Now, if they go into Bisharp, they go into Weavile. That is definitely Choice Scarfed. I'm going to risk going to Sableye here. And try spreading a Wisp. As I said earlier, I can still get this back to full HP later in the game. Is this Specs or Scarf, I wonder? I'll recover in their face. Hopefully I don't flinch. Or get 2-hit KO'd. Pump misses, which is great for me, so I'm going to Calm Mind now. Of course, Bisharp is still a threat to my team. Though, if it's burned, I don't know if it can KO me. With Z. Hydro Vortex. Wow, that really caught me off guard. Unfortunately, that's probably going to be it for me. I don't know if I can come back from this. We obviously click Focus Blast here, but it's not going to KO, is it? I don't think it KOs Greninja. So that was really good on my opponent's side. I did not expect a Z-crystal to come out. They Water Shuriken? Interesting. I'm not sure if Focus Blast would have KO'd. Well, it wouldn't have because it didn't even hit. Unfortunately, if this does not KO, the game is over. Runeraegis might be able to live Bisharp and Weavile, maybe just about, and Body Press does KO them both. But unfortunately, Focus Blast is of course infamously unreliable. The burn will KO, I think, just about. Now the question is, can I survive 2 attacks? Knockoff won't do much. The question is, will Sucker Punch kill me? Or do I have to play around some crazy Sucker Punch? Let's trick them. They knock me off. It doesn't do too much. We Body Press here. Are they Sash, I wonder? They probably go for Sucker Punch, which I think KOs me. Yeah, I could have played around maybe, but it would have been very hard. So good game my opponent's side. Definitely a tough matchup for me. I think I did pretty well, all things considered. I'm going to pause and be right. So we have a game against Mono Ice. In this game, obviously, Weavile is a threat to me again. But if we manage to get our Stealth Rocks up early in the game, it's actually super good for us. So I'm going to go ahead and assume they want their Veil up more than killing me. Or they go straight for Dazzling Gleam, which is a lot of damage. Okay. We'll go into AG here. I value my rocks so much in this game. And we're actually going to stall out a turn of their Veil, I think, with my King's Shield. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I mean, any stall at all is quite good. Oh, hello. I'll take my weakness policy. Happily. Unfortunately, I end up flinching, which really sucks. Oh, and their Sash. That's really interesting. This is honestly pretty good for me, because we waste their Hail turns and their Veil. And we still have a pretty powerful AG right now. Naturally, Weavile comes in. We're going to King Shield here. Hopefully they don't go for a Swords Dance, because that would be very bad for me. They go for an Ice Shard. We're just going to go ahead and click Iron Head again here. As we live, they don't have a Dark move. Their Rocky Helmet, okay. It's interesting Weavile set. In this position, Gengar is really, really good. I don't think I want to risk a Focus Blast because I do believe Sludge Bomb KOs. Cloyster Special Defense is terrible. Darmanitan, I'll take you too. I am slightly worried about Kyurem, but I do outspeed the Mimikyu, assuming it's not Scarfed. As they miss Draco, I'm very sorry about that. And I believe Gengar just wins the endgame here. So my opponent had some unconventional sets, but not bad ones. They were pretty cool. I like Sash Ninetales, but personally I think Light Clay is so important on ice. And I do believe that is game here. As my Sludge Bomb will KO. GG. And with that we're going to pause and be right. So we have a game here against Mono Ground, which is looking quite dangerous. And it's against my friend Quantum Infinity. Great team builder, so really looking forward to seeing what they bring today. Crocodile obviously is going to be a huge threat. I also worry about Excadrill. I think I actually want to keep my Sableye on Mega Evolved for a while. Nice to see you. And especially because Landorus Eye is really, really dangerous in this tier. So let's go ahead and... I'm going to try to open up an Agi. As they open up a Hippo. I don't necessarily want this thing getting killed. I think they're going to rock turn 1. So let's go straight for an Iron Head. The classic Quantum Infinity Internet. I'm pretty sure they'll come back. So the game plan here is to try an Iron Head on their rocks. No, is it? Maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't want to lose HP on Rune just yet. I think I value HP on everything else. Actually, we'll go Sableye. As they yawn. This thing can't fall asleep. It's too important to my team. I feel like Gengar is not too useful, but maybe like Shadow Ball spam in the end game's not terrible. Let's go back into Agi here and get our weakness policy. And go for an Iron Head. It probably won't do too much. Hippo Down is crazy bulky. I actually did 63, which is so good for me. If I can take care of this in the early game, that's really excellent for me. And Marowak should live one. And I think Poltergeist might KO in this position. They probably have Slack Off. As they go into Gastrodon, I mean, damage on this is so valuable. I'll just Poltergeist again here. So the reason I don't want to Mega Evolve just yet is I want to try and Prankster burn the Excadrill. Or potentially the Hippo Down too. Do I value HP and Marowak? Not really. Crocodile is obviously a big threat to my team. Which obviously comes out now. I'm gonna sack this. It's probably Choice Scarf, which means I do believe Focus Blast KOs here. Nice. That's pretty good for me. Lando is a threat and a half, to be honest. We'll just Focus Blast for some chip. That is 0. Okay. Am I done for? Maybe Mimikyu Play Rough can do some damage. I shouldn't have swapped. That's such a bad play on my part. I should have just sacked my Gengar. So unfortunately, I think that's game. Earth Power, yeah, that's way too strong. That thing is a menace. GG. I played very bad. I should not have sacked Mimikyu. I should have sacked Gengar and gone straight into Mimikyu and Play Roughed. But he outplayed me. Yeah, for sure. GG. Makes sense going into the Executor to get the guaranteed KO with Earthquake. Honestly, my best play was to stay with Gengar, get the Curse Body, so it's disappointing that I misplayed that, but it happens. And with that, we're gonna pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Water. Now, things like Greninja are a huge threat. Honestly, so is Swampert. I think I value my rocks a good bit in this game, but unfortunately, Runa Regis isn't the best. We're going to try open up an Aegislash here. As they open up Greninja, which is exactly what I wanted. Hopefully they go for a Dark Pulse and I live. And then Sacred Sword will KO, definitely. Thanks to Weakness Policy, do not flinch. Thank you, Aegislash. That is the ideal situation for me. Getting rid of a big threat turn 1 is quite good. As Pelipper comes in. I mean, this is pretty much dead meat now. We're going to King Shield here just to stall one turn of rain. And then I'm just going to Shadow Sneak for some chip. I don't see a position where this thing lives. A Hurricane. And that's a decent bit of chip, which actually should put it in range of Gengar's Shadow Ball. Naturally, Toxapex is a threat to my team, as always. But we don't actually get rid of their Rain Setter. I'm surprised it lived that. So I could have used Sludge Bomb, but I expected maybe Pex to come in. Or Slowbro obviously does not like eating a Shadow Ball either. But with this, their Rain Setter is actually gone, which means I should be able to handle Swampert. I still have speed. Get a bit of chip here. Now the question is, who do I go into? I think I go into Sableye and try Prankster Will-O-Wisp here. Tapu Fini might come in, which would have been a good play. But with that burnt, it lets me set up Calm Minds right now, which does threaten their team a lot. Let's recover, just in case we get some flinch hacks here. Obviously, Fini is a threat to me. But if we Calm Mind up enough, we are in a pretty decent position. Okay. I mean, if they want to let me set up for free here, I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, Pex can come straight in and haze me, and there's pretty much nothing I can do about that. But on the off chance they're not running haze, all this boosts and HP matters so much against Tapu Fini. Because of its Misty Surge, I won't be able to Wisp it. Oops, let's Calm Mind. Okay. I really don't think staying in on Swampert was the right play in my opinion. I think maybe Pex should have come hard in here. Or even, honestly, Tapu Fini. So I'm not sure if the Spadef boost made a difference at all. As Tapu Fini comes in, we can click Hex here. I don't think they'll do too much damage to me because I'm so boosted. Nice. And 46% is not bad. I'll click Hex again just in case something like Toxapex came in. I didn't want to Calm Mind once more and then just haze away all my efforts. They are Protect Whirlpool. So I think between Mimikyu and Marowak, I should be able to take on Pex. And Slowbro. Ironically, Slowbro is probably a bigger threat because it has so much defense. Let's Hex here. Never mind, they actually let me poison their Slowbro, which is super good for me. So even if they do swap out now to try absorb these later, there's no point. Because Bro will still be poisoned on the swap out. And Hex will absolutely annihilate the Slowbro. It looks like my opponent does not run Haze. I mean, short of them critting me, and even then I think I just still outspeed, because Slowbro is, I mean, it's in the name, he's slow. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Poison, which is looking pretty threatening to my team. They unfortunately, fortunately they do not have Pex, which is good, because that thing is a threat. Though I do think Weezing's a threat to my team too. We're going to try and open up with AG here, as they open up with the Bat. Let's go straight for an Iron Head. Just get some decent chip, because they don't really have any great switch into this. Maybe Toxtricity. And my team is lacking especially defensive Pokemon. We get the boost here thanks to Weakness Policy, which is great, as now we can Shadow Sneak anything coming in. And if Weezing comes in, Gengar comes in. I'm Shadow Sneaking. Nice. If Weezing comes in, we actually outspeed by 1 point, assuming they're min speed, which is very good for me. Yes, I will take this happily. Well, AG is tearing through this team. I'll King Shield. Just because I think my Shadow Sneak should be undisabled after this turn, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, it is not, but we did get the attack drop, which is nice. I think in this position, I simply try and get my Trick Room into Marowak up and win the game with Earthquake. I don't think I need to try anything too fancy here, so let's Trick Room. This must be a physical Toxtricity. Let's go ahead and Momentum. Let's just regular Memento. Just in case I have to play this player again later, I don't want to reveal Z. Into Marowak. We simply click Earthquake 3 times, I think, and win. Unless maybe they have an Air Balloon. Even still, I think Mimikyu is quite strong. They do have Air Balloon. Poltergeist, assuming it connects, will definitely KO. Yes, it did. And finally, a Flare Blitz to finish off the game on the Beedrill. GG. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Water, and this team is looking super threatening. Both Sharpedo and Greninja are a big threat to my team. Honestly, so is Manaphy. I'm going to try and open up with my Aegislash here, I think. And maybe try go for a Sacred Sword turn 1. That is, of course, assuming they Dark Pulse. They go for U-turn, which is a very clever play. Into Swampert. They're not Mega Swampert, so they're Mega Sharpedo, for sure. What's my answer to this? I don't really have one. I'll go to Sableye here. And I'm going to Mega Evolve the Burn, just in case they decide to swap into something like Sharpedo to try and eat this. They Flip Turn. Into Rotom Wash. I don't think there's too much Rotom can do to me. I'll Calm Mind here. Manaphy is such a threat to my team, I'm not going to lie. As Perch comes back in, let's recover. They presumably Flip Turn again. They go hard into Pex. I mean, I value just burning this. I don't think Hex is going to do too much. They go into Manaphy. Now this is a threat. The crit there helps me a lot. Are they the Z Rain Dance set? That thing is so scary. Let's go Gar. It's Tail Glow. We're going to Sludge Bomb here for some chip. We still got that bit of chip. Let's go AG. I expected maybe an Earthquake to come out there. And they take in Sharpedo. On the off chance they crunch me. Excellent, that's a good turn for me here. And I get the Weakness Policy boost and actually end up KOing Sharpedo, which is super good for me. That's a big threat to my team taking care. We'll sneak. Any bit of chip here matters. And Gar can come back in. I'm going to click Shadow Ball this time. We got the Spadef drop. Nice. And the crit. My bad. That was very good luck on my part. Of course, Greninja is still a big threat to me. And it is Choice Scarf. Good to know. Shadow Ball does a chunk. And this lets me, I think... Marowak is my answer to Toxapex, I think. I'll take in Sableye. I'll try and Calm Mind once. They might end up freezing me, which would be, of course, very bad for me. But that is how Karma works. RNG giveth, RNG taketh away. In this position, though, it's pretty good because my hexes are going to start doing double damage on the Toxapex as long as I can keep my Mimikyu healthy. Don't freeze. Nice. Let's recover up. They can haze, but in this position, I think I can just start spamming hex, really. It either forces them to swap out. They flip turn probably into their Greninja. Into Pex again. We'll just hex some more. I mean, all this small bit of chip I'm doing to their team is quite good for me. Obviously the poison hurts. Quite bad. Let's try burn this turn. Ah, they crit, unfortunate. And I missed the burn. Really, really bad turn for me. So what we're going to have to do is go into Rune and Trick Room. That is not the turn I wanted. Greninja comes in. Let's try Z Memento. I could have body pressed there. But I wanted to guarantee full HP on my Sableye. Into a Calm Mind. Are they going to swap into Pex here? I think they will. I'll Hex. They flip turn into Pex. We'll Hex again. Just putting some pressure on my opponent. Come on, Wisp. Work for me here. I still think with the damage they're taking, Mimikyu and Marowak are quite good in the endgame. Please connect. Nice. So now we can recover spam. Of course, I am on a timer. Let's Calm Mind once, and then recover once more. And now click Hex. Nice. Excellent damage on the Pex. And he's forced to swap out here. So I'm going to try and burn the Greninja as they go into Swampert. Honestly, any bit of chip here is super good for me. I super value chip here. They are Hydro Vortex. We get the KO anyway, which is good. Let's go into Mimikyu. Now, naturally, Pex is a big threat to me. I'm going to Swords Dance. As they flip turn into Pex. Into Greninja. Does Sneak KO here? It does not. But their Gunk Shot doesn't KO either. Ah, good play on my opponent's part. Very good play. I was hoping they might flip turn there into maybe Pex and the sub might win me the game. But they played that endgame very well. Oh, I actually lived? What? That's crazy. Unfortunately, I think Pex is actually faster than me because I'm min speed. And that's what really hurts in this position. That came down to the wire. It really did. They outspeed and Scald can KO. Unless they're just Sludge Bomb. In which case, maybe I win. Ah, it came down to 4%. GG. Very well played on my opponent's part. A very close game. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against a Mono Fairy team. Looking pretty threatening. I do value rocks here, I think, with my Runa Regis, though Diancie is a threat, so I'm going to try and open up with my Aegislash here. Mimikyu is also a big threat to my team. I definitely value burning that with the likes of Sableye. It is unfortunate that Sableye isn't as good in this game as I would have hoped. Okay, there's a lot of people coming in here. I'm just going to go ahead and ignore spectators. And ignore opponents. So, they are deliberating. Should I open up Marowak? No, because if they open up Deontay, it's a straight up KO to me. Which is exactly what they do. We're going to try Iron Head here. We get some chip on Klefki. It isn't bad. Now I expect maybe a T-Wave to come out here. So I'll go into the rune. As they spikes up. Ah, not good for me. Let's go straight Sableye. And just Wisp something coming in. I mean, Wisping Deontay isn't terrible for me. It's not ideal. We can go into AG. I think we still might just live an Earth Power. Oh, actually, no way, that crit. Unfortunate. We will Shadow Sneak here for some chip. As Klefki comes back in. I'll Iron Head here. Ah, unfortunate. Though I do get the KO. But with what? This is a terrible play because I think Foul Play kills me. No, Foul Play doesn't kill me actually. And we get rid of their Reflect, which is pretty good for the likes of Mimikyu. Naturally, Deontay comes in here, which is a huge threat to my team. We sack Marowak. I don't think Gengar KOs in this position. I don't see Rune having too much of a role either. I guess I go into the Rune here and Trick Room. And then maybe try Memento into Mimikyu. That did so much damage. Yeah, well, Memento. Because then we can potentially Swords Dance up with Mimikyu. Which is pretty nice for me. Also, they might think I'm a slow Mimikyu. But I'm actually max speed. And if I can just break the Mimikyu's disguise, I can potentially win with Choice Scarf Sludge Bomb. Though it is a difficult position for me. So they let me Memento Bulu. I think I'm actually going to go into Sableye on this. And try and just set out some Calm Minds. We might be able to live the Deontay after a +2. Especially thanks to Trick Room. So this actually might be a decent position for me. Obviously Tapu Lele is a huge threat. Let's Calm Mind once more. Because I am getting the recovery from the Grassy Surge. And I think when the light screen goes down, Hex should KO. That did a lot of damage. Hex truly KOs. It's 100 and... No, does it KO? I got the special attack drop, so that really hurts me. I think I have to go for it. But I feel like Tapu Lele kills me. Unless for some reason it's not Specs. It could be Choice Scarf, I suppose. But Tapu Koko as well is a threat. Mimikyu comes in. We're going to Wisp this. And they miss Play Rough, which is excellent for me. Which means we can potentially break their disguise here. That was a big turn. Okay, good play on their part to Swords Dance up. Because now it limits my Gengar, so I'm going to save Gengar, as I believe Sludge Bomb can kill the 3 Tapus. We'll sneak here. Just KO this. Now, assuming Sludge Bomb KOs all 3 of those, which it should. It's Stab, and Gengar is no slouch on the offensive side. Nice. So I also get just a tiny bit of chip here on something that comes in. Which I value, honestly. So what does my opponent do in this position? I feel like unless they have a sash on one of their team members, I think it's over. I miss my play rough, which is completely fair. And the chip on Tapu Lele is really good because that is the one thing I was most worried about. That maybe would survive a Sludge Bomb. I don't think Coco or Bulu do, but again, they could be using Focus Sash, so the game is far from over right now. Okay. Let's hope they're not Sash. I managed to weasel my way out of that quite nicely. I really didn't think it would go in my favour, though I have to admit the miss on the play rough was big. Potentially I still could have worked around it with Mimikyu breaking their Mimikyu's disguise. I think Gengar's Sludge Bomb still would have been pretty strong in the end game after that. So it's a matter now of waiting for my opponent. Maybe they're talking to me. I did block spectators, so I'm not sure. Or perhaps they're deliberating amongst themselves of what best to do here. So far I've been quite enjoying Mono Ghost. I thought it would be much worse than it is, but I've been really enjoying this, so let's see if Sludge Bomb KOs. Nice. It definitely KOs Bulu. I definitely outspeed, so I think the only way they can potentially live here is if they were Focus Sash. And they end up forfeiting, which tells me they were not. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So that is going to be it from Mono Ghost for today. Overall, I was pretty happy how I played. I think the team was really fun. I definitely made some misplays. Against Quantum Infinity, I should not have sacked my Mimikyu. That was probably my win condition. However, we live and learn from these mistakes. Overall, I don't think Ghost was as bad as I was anticipating. I thought it was going to be a really, really bad type of NatDex, but it is tricky. I won't lie. I won't say it's like an easy type to play. It's quite tricky and has some very specific tools up its sleeve. But overall, I do think it was quite fun and do some good work. So let me know down below what you think of Mono Ghost and what type you'd like me to play next. I have a couple in the works. Again, I do apologize if these take longer to come out or they're not as long or high quality as the Gen 8 ones are. I just don't have the time to be laddering NatDex up to top 500 for every type because the ladder is much quieter and much slower. So hopefully you did enjoy that, and with that, I'll see you in the next video. Take care everyone, catch you next time.